began the drums and why?
I started drumming from the age of around 9. My brother brought a drum set into our room, which is probably about the size of this small area. So it was 2 beds and a drum set right in the middle of the room. And I was so happy as a kid to see this drum set in our bedroom. But he was actually in a band and he was playing, but that's where the drum set was. And I was very happy to have it because I did everything he did. You know, my brother Harvey he's about 8 years old, 6 years older than me. But anything he did, I would do it as well. So if my brother was, walking with a cool walk, I would try to, look at his, when he would comb his hair, when I had hair, I would comb it the same way that he did. And he played drums, so I did the same thing. And that's when it all started for me, just playing in the house.
When were you hooked?
Like on drums?
Yeah.
I probably from the time that I sat down and just heard the sound and what it would do and how people would be affected by it. When my drums, not my drums, where his drums were set up in our bedroom, there was a window and you could see into the apartment next to ours. So when I would start playing, they would look out the window like my audience, and I loved just playing for them. So I would play like the Beatles, "She loves you, yeah," something like that. And they would just watch, and I loved it.
And did you get lessons, or did
I never had lessons. My mother, she was raising 4 kids on her own. She's a single parent, so there was no room for lessons or anything like that. I just learned from listening to different, records. But no, when I was around 14 or 15, I was introduced to drum and bugle corps, which is like a marching band on steroids. It's like a whole other world. Marching bands are pretty kind of open and a little, sorry marching band people, but back in the day, it was a little goofy to be in a marching band. You're doing all these little silly moves and stuff like that. When you saw it on TV on a college football game, and you saw them making these letters and things like that, you thought it was the coolest thing. Until I joined drum and bugle corps, and I went to my first show, and I saw what they were doing, which was so much more superior than a marching band. But back then, the local drum corps was the New York Knickerbockers Drum and Bugle Corps. And my friend Jerry, his brother Billy, his other brother Ronnie, and his sister Pat, and his sister Terry, they were all in the drum corps. So one Sunday, I hear somebody playing drums on the fence outside my window. So when I look out the window, it's Jerry Horde, who lives around my neighborhood. And I said, what's going on? Where you going? I didn't even know you played drums. He said, yeah, I'm going to drum corps practice. Do you want to go? And I said, yeah, I guess. If it's drumming, I want to be there. What I saw, I was immediately hooked. Like, immediately. Like, I was so scared when I went in. But in a very short time, I was hooked.
How was your drumming? You played on kit, right? Up until
yeah,
the stage?
well, during that time, around 14 years old, there was no drum set of my own. Because my brother, he sold the drums. I didn't know why, but one day I came home, the drums was gone. And the reason why they were gone is because he got his young girlfriend pregnant. And my mother, who was a very strict lady, was like, well, I guess you're going to have to get a job because you can't live here with your new baby. You're going to need an apartment.
So the drum kit went?
The drum kit went, and I didn't know for years why the drum kit went.
Oh.
And then I found out years later he had to sell the drum kit for money. Oh. And I was angry when the drums were gone because I didn't know why. I didn't know why the drums ended up just leaving the house. But then years later I found out why the drums wasn't there. And he said, listen, I just needed the money. and I had to take care of my kid, and then he ended up having another kid, and then he had another kid, then he had another kid. So
No, four kids.
Yeah,
four kids too.
4 daughters.
4 daughters.
Whew. That was a handful. But luckily to say they're all very good people. Yeah, good folks.
Tell me when your first big break came.
The first.
Your drumming career, yeah.
Well, again, my neighborhood, Bronx River Houses, was full of some really talented people. Really talented. There was some drummers, keyboard players, saxophone, guitars, all just everywhere. But again, this is at a time where playing musical instruments was very popular, and New York City schools used to have music programs. So, you know, people were musicians, and then hip hop showed up and killed it all. But just by sheer luck, in my building on the first floor, apartment 1A, as you first walked in my building, was a guy named Wade Taylor. And Wade Taylor was also a drummer, and he was a singer. So he had heard me when I finally got a drum set. It took me many years to get a drum set. My mother couldn't afford it. He heard me playing, and he's like, man, he's really sounding good. I have this group that just had a #1 record, and if you want, come down and check it out because the drummer can't do it. And I was like, wow, that's really cool, but you got to ask my mother. So he had to actually say to Miss Rose, can Ralph come to this audition? And she said, well, if he's going with you, then it's no problem.
And how old were you?
Oh, I was 18 years old, 18.
Now, did you stay in your room? I know you had the drum corps going on, but on the drum kit, before the drum kit went, did you practice? Did you listen to these records?
Oh, yeah.
And you tried to copy what you heard?
My brother used to have a reel-to-reel, and it had a microphone, and you tape stuff. So he would tape stuff off the radio and make his own reel-to-reels by splicing the tape together. No, he would listen to all kinds of stuff. And
you could just hear it, and then would you wait until you got it right? Would you?
Yeah, what I did is
easy?
I came up with this this learning technique.
Yeah.
That I would play the songs, I would play along to the record, then I would record myself playing, and then I would listen back to see how I did.
Yeah.
And then listen to the record, making these comparisons all the time. And I didn't know at the time, but I was actually doing ear training.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I just thought I was just, imitating my favorite drummers. But later on in life, I realized that it really helped me to hone in on different styles, sounds, approaches, understandings of songs, just from listening and recording myself playing, and then critiquing myself. And
so
being
you were quite harsh critic on yourself.
I don't know if I was harsh, but I was honest.
Honest, yeah.
If it wasn't good, then I would go, okay. So I listen back and I go, okay, I like that. Okay, that sounds good. Oh, no, that was horrible. No, let me remember that. I got to fix that. And then I would go and do the same beat again and check it to see if I made any improvements on it.
Right.
And it helped me later on in life because it gave me ear training.
Yeah.
I was teaching. I didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to listen to the tapes to get better. I didn't want to listen to the tape just because it was me playing.
Yes. As a training aid.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I find it myself, listening, watching.
Right.
Because I think when you're playing, you always think you're better than you are.
Right.
And then you watch it on the video or audio and you think, oh, God, I wasn't that good. Or, you hear different things.
Yes.
So, so I do totally get that. You know, when this was going on, did well, your rudiments must have been fairly good from your drum corps, right?
Well, they were, but
So
it was next was applying it to the drums.
Okay.
So the drummers that I heard early on that I really liked, Clyde Stubblefield
Yeah.
was one of the drummers. Al Jackson Jr. from Al Green. Loved him. Robin Russell from New Birth. Then names you don't know, like Ricky Williams, who was the drummer in my neighborhood, who was amazing. There's Artie Durant. Amazing drummers in my community that I would listen to. Bernard Davis is from downtown. And these are the guys that I grew up on, learning and listening from. But that's how I did it. I didn't have any formal training at all. It was just playing a record, playing along with the record, listening to what I did, fixing whatever I did wrong, taping myself again, listening back, and then constantly perfecting that sound that you wanted.
And what about the Chic stuff? When you were young, did you think, oh, what a cool band! I'm gonna copy. Because who was the drummer?
Tony Thompson.
Yeah.
Well, when I first heard Chic, was at a roller skating rink, and Le Freak came on. And the minute that record came on, the people in the skating ring that wasn't skating was trying to get out on the floor for the energy level of this song. Wow. Because at that time, there was a very famous dance called the Freak.
Okay. And
the Freak was, it was this thing where you dance with a girl, and the reason why I call it the Freak because you can actually touch her. That's why the dance was called the Freak. So the song Le Freak is because of that.
Really? Is that what it means?
Yeah. The first lyrics, other than it starts with the chorus, freak out.
Yeah.
The first verse says, have you heard about this new dance craze? Listen up, I'm sure you'll be amazed. Big fun to be had by everyone. Yeah, it's up to you. And soon it can be something like that. But it was talking about the dance, the freak.
Wow.
But I'm in the skating ring, and the song comes on, and people go completely berserk. When the song, as soon as it went 1, 2, freak about, people started to dance on the skating floor.
It just makes you. They all say that about music, but that makes you dance.
Oh, of course it does.
I can't drum to it, but I can dance to it.
Oh no! First of all, there's no such thing as can't, and you can drum to it, and I can show you how.
Yeah, that's the next installment.
No such thing as can't.
No, okay, you're right. We've been talking about that. So when you listen to this, did you ever think I want to be in that band one day?
Oh, absolutely.
And did you think you would be?
I didn't know if I would be, but I thought of it. I was like, I want to be in that band.
And at this age, you knew that you wanted to be a drummer?
Oh yeah.
So you decided that I want to be a drummer. Yeah,
when I decided the day that I wanted to be a drummer, I had followed my brother's footsteps of mechanical engineering because he has a firm in Virginia. He just retired, but he did very, very well as a mechanical engineer. So I took 4 years of mechanical engineering, and I was all set to pick my college and go. And I had an engineering school in New Jersey, in Brooklyn called Pratt Institute. I wanted to go to, and I'm sitting in class, and I have my drawing in front of me, and I'm doing whatever. And I'm always very proud of my drawings, because left-handed people really can't write so well.
Yeah, you're left-handed.
Yes, I am
right?
left-handed. So I'm sitting in class, and I just one day I looked around. I said, "What the hell am I doing here? I hate this." And that was the last time that I ever took that class. And from that point on, I always, wanted to be a musician.
In your opinion, what is it that makes a good drummer? I would like the Ralph Rolle definition of what a good drummer is.
It's a good drummer is someone who keeps a clear and concise groove for the song. It's not about the person. It's always about how they are accessing the right sounds and the right patterns for the song that they're playing. Which, for me, I believe that is the best drummers the drummers I like are the drummers that have not a whole lot of, chops and tricks and, throwing the stick up in the air, catching it on fire, in your mouth. I've never cared about that. I've heard drummers that have very highly proficient, but I've always asked myself, I hope this guy can groove because I like him. I like the crazy things he's doing, but I wonder if he could just play a song. And that is the biggest thing. Can you just keep enough time to make this song sound great by your groove? You ain't got to be all over the place doing all this stuff. Not necessary, in my opinion. It's just finding your lane in the song, sticking in that lane, and making the song that you are playing sound the best possible way. So there is a sense of servitude as a musician that I'll tell anybody. I'm a servant. That's what I do. I serve the music in the best possible way I can, because that's when the exchange happens between you being a musician, being a drummer, being in any chair, accessing the right sounds and the right groove that then goes out into the audience, makes them feel a certain way, which then turns that energy right back around and gives it right back to you, and that exchange back and forth happens all night. It's a love affair, and I never take that moment for granted, no matter how many people that I could be or might be playing in front of. It is a humbling and beautiful experience to be able to serve the music that serves the people, that then serves you back. It's
like a circle, chain reaction.
At 100%. It is a reciprocal thing that goes on, and it's never about me. It's always about the music.
Now you can sing as well, so you're a singer. Do you think that plays an important part of your drumming? Because you just, well, I don't know how you do both at the same time. That's amazing. And I'm sure we've all watched. A lot of us have watched Ralph on, it was New Year's Eve. I can't remember what channel, probably BBC, yeah, BBC.
BBC One.
Working that crowd, Let's Dance, singing it, saying, whoa, 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 whoa. I was there doing it in my living room.
Good.
I wasn't out, but I was telling you,
Good.
And, but, the singing, did that help? Does that help? Well, I don't know what I'm asking, really.
Well, I think the question is that you said was about the drumming and the playing.
Yeah.
And how is that? What are you thinking, or how do you do that?
Yeah.
Is what the question is. I didn't start out playing drums and singing. I started out playing drums and I liked to sing.
Yeah.
I used to love Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations. So I used to always sing his songs, those high tenor parts. And then I learned to get my own natural, voice, which is not tenor. But one day I was in my band Indigo. It was a local band in New York. We used to do a lot of gigs, and Vanessa Anderson, Andrea Brown, John Adams, Larry Robinson, who was the keyboard player, organist for Al Green, Orman Hairston, Tommy Odom, and myself, and we would do local clubs. And one time there was a song that needed another vocal, and they had heard me humming and singing. They said, "Okay, you're up, kid." And that's how I started singing my one song, doing my one note, and then doing another song, doing my note, singing, playing the parts together.
And you could play in time?
Yeah.
And you didn't waver?
Well, in the beginning, I probably messed up a lot because you're trying to sing and play and find that right feel and keep it. So I never worried about it after maybe the first couple of years. But when I first started doing it, it was so nerve-wracking. And then I learned something about the brain. The brain is like any other muscle in your body. If you use it properly, it will grow, and it will support a lot of what you do strength-wise. But if you don't use it, it will atrophy and get old, and it won't grow. So I realized the more drumming and playing I would do, then I would get better at it. So I would try it more and more and more, one song at a time. And then finally, when I started playing and drumming, I was like, oh, I can actually like do this now, you know, and then more and more. And now I'm doing it with Nile Rodgers.
What is your unique selling point as a drummer? What is good about you? Why are you a good drummer? Why do people book you?
I think it's a combination of a few things that I talk about in my master classes and my drum clinics. You first and foremost, as I said, you got to remember that you are serving something bigger than yourself. That is the big one. If you can get that in your mind, that the music is bigger than you, then you will probably do well at your work. That's one. Two is having enough proficiency to be able to play the songs that someone is giving you to play. Like, I had to learn how to read. I taught myself how to do that. You know, that's extremely important. So those things will help you keep a gig and for the rest of your life. Coming on time, having a good personality is very important. You know, people don't necessarily want to be around somebody who you know, that they can't get along with, or they, you know, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You know, that everybody, music is happy. Then you'll be depressed. You know, so those are the elements that I think are very important. Coming on time, being professional, having all the tools that you need when you get your pens, pencils, recording apparatus that you might have. All of these things people remember.
Because you're with Nile Rodgers now.
Yes.
And what did he say when he first heard you drum?
The first time he heard me drum, or the first time he paid attention, was not the first time he heard me. The first time he heard me, he was being awarded, and I was the drummer in the group that was at the festivities. He never knew I was there. And I was trying to play so he can hear me, like, oh, let me stop what I'm doing over here while I'm accepting this award and listen to this drummer, which is stupid, but, you know, I was trying to put out that kind of energy. But after I was recommended to be in Chic and he heard me, was maybe about 12 years ago when I first got in the group. And he came to sound check. He came to our, not sound check, but a rehearsal. And it was me, Barry Johnson, and Nile. And I started playing. We played for just a few minutes, and he just stopped, packed up his guitar. See you in Switzerland. And that was it.
Did he ever say to you what he liked about you?
I'm trying to think if he has said anything about. No.
And
Not that I can think of what he likes about. I think what Nile does like about me is the fact that I know how to play his music. I'm trying to get the sound as close to Tony Thompson as possible, which is also is important. It's not me. It's about what the people remember. He says he says I'm the crazy one in the band when he introduces me. So he says I have a great personality. And Claude Nobbs, the late Claude Nobbs, who was the founder of the Jazz Festival, Montrose Jazz Festival.
yeah.
He heard me for the first time. And after the show was over, he went to Nile. He said, listen, I don't know who this guy is you have, but that's the guy you need to keep. It was one of the biggest compliments I'd ever got. Because Claude hears everybody. And he said, no, Nile, that's your guy. And that was 12 years ago. So I'm glad to be here.
And he must be an incredible person to work with, right?
Oh,
And
Nile is ridiculous. He's such a hippie.
Really?
Yeah, he's just very cosmic. Nile is cosmic. He's very cool, but he's cosmic. He wants the vibe to be right. He wants from the very top to the bottom, whatever the bottom means. He wants the whole thing to have an equal kind of flow. So one of the greatest things about being in Nile Rodgers and Chic, believe it or not, is not even the music. The greatest thing is the relationship that we have when we're not playing, which is unheard of. I'm talking everybody, not just the band. Here's what Nile Rodgers and Chic is like as an organization. The monitor man who lives in Italy had a birthday yesterday. Every single person from the front office to Nile sent him a message to say happy birthday. That's the organization of Nile Rodgers and Chic.
In your playing, coming back to your playing, do you have any moments of doubt? Do you have any moments of like, you know, even now, self-doubt, or I haven't, you know, or I'm not sure if I can do that? I suppose when you're in a band, you know that music so well, right? Do you practice still?
No, but that moment came of nervousness.
Yeah.
The last time that I really got super nervous, I was called to do an audition for Al Jarreau.
Okay.
And I know Al Jarreau songs, so I really didn't have to like practice, because if they call Al Jarreau song, I'd listened to so much Al Jarreau that I could just play one of his songs. So the day that I go to audition, I come upstairs, I wait in the hallway. I'm the only drummer in the hallway, but there's a drummer inside, and he's playing. So then it drops to quiet, and they say, okay, you're coming up in a few minutes. And the person goes back inside, and a few minutes later, who walks out? Dennis Chambers. So I had to audition for Al Jarreau behind the Dennis Chambers. I was so nervous, and as much as I knew about Al Jarreau's music, I couldn't play anything.
Really? So he threw you?
Oh yeah. Dennis? Oh yeah.
So what did
I was
you do?
done.
Did you play?
Yeah, I played and I sucked. And I never got the call, and it was so embarrassing because I know so much of Al Jarreau's music. Even with Dennis there, I would have done a great job.
Yeah.
So that was the last time, honestly, the last time that I allowed myself.
Yeah.
Allowed myself. Because the brain has this what if factor that could talk you out of stuff every single time. What if Dennis is here? Or what if the music is too difficult? Or what if Al Jarreau is sitting? Or what, you know, and you start to compound all of these different things into your head, you know, and it starts to pile up. And then you start talking yourself out of stuff because it's easier than all of the stuff that you came up with. So that was the last day that I allowed someone watching me or playing before me who I know is a superior musician to intimidate me, because I realized everybody's sound is different.
Yes.
You know, slightly. You know, some drummers now I can't tell the difference, you know, coming out of, you know, the genres that they come out of. But back then, if you heard a record, you could tell immediately who everybody was, having your own identity. So right at that moment, I said, I got to create my own identity. I can't allow, you know, my love of Dennis Chambers to intimidate me at any time. I know who he is and I know what he does. But even if my repertoire of whatever is limited, it's got to be the best at my limit.
And it's a good learning thing for whatever you're doing, isn't it? Whatever, whether it's drumming
Right.
or what. Because you're a teacher, you're an educator of drums. You've spoken about the 5 Ps.
Right.
So, a learner drummer like me, you know, advice that you would give to learners, to people that are wanting to be good.
Right.
But talk about the 5 Ps as well.
Well, when I teach, I do not have an exact template for every single person. That to me is a waste of time, because every single person has a personality that's different. So you have to approach it based on who they are, not what you think they should be. That's the freedom of music and teaching drums, because what I'm trying to mainly teach is confidence and technique. You know, hand technique, application with hand, foot, snare, kick, hi-hat. Those things are very important. So I'm working on postures, different grooves, your ability to play, and just heightening that in the fastest way, and almost tricking you into doing some of the things that you thought you could never do by eliminating the word can't out of your vocabulary. So the 5 Ps are lessons that I have come up with for my life that I've shared now with thousands of people around the world about it. 5 Ps are passion, power, placement, performance, and purity. Passion, power, placement, performance, and purity. And throughout my masterclass, I'm giving these anecdotes about my life and different things to help and show the end user, the person watching me, how that could be good for your life. If you adapt these teachings and adopt what I'm trying to tell you, it could hopefully help you in your forward motion. And it's work. Passion, of course, is that thing that drives you to do what you do. The way how I explain power is not about having the physical strength, but having the mental constraint that's powerful within a song. So I demonstrate that. Performance, we talk about what's the importance of a great performance. What are you looking for in your performance when you're playing a song? Passion, power, placement also. I forgot about placement. Placing is what you actually do with that particular groove and how it sounds with your ensemble. So passion, power, placement, performance. And then the last one is purity. You put all of those things together. Now, how pure can you get this thing to sound? How can you make this great? And Steve Gadd is a perfect example of that. I just saw him last week in Tokyo. The man's placement and the purity is so Steve Gadd, and it just takes your breath away. Everything he did that was so simple and minute, I was back there going, oh, it's killing me. The other person is a photo finish at #1 is Harvey Mason. I love the way Harvey Mason accesses a song and is thinking about a song. It's very percussive at his roots, but his groove factor is amazing. And I've always loved that about Steve Gadd and Harvey Mason. That's how they do the passion, the power, the placement, the performance, and the purity. So at my master classes, I really expound on all of those areas because I want the people watching to understand that it's not so much about doing 60,000 different things in one song. It could just be having the best 2 and 4 pocket for that particular track, and that's all it needs. And if you have a good pocket, you can work forever. You don't need to have a lot of chops.
Okay.
Just a good pocket to make a song sound good.
That makes me feel better.
No, it's very true.
See, because I'm not so chop. I like the word chop. I don't have many of them. But licks and chops. Which brings me on to cookies. No, we will talk about cookies.
Okay.
Licks and chops. Funny words. Who came up with licks and chops?
Somebody who was hungry?
Yeah. Common faults, common problems that you're seeing that people are mistakes. I don't mean mistakes in their playing, but like where they're getting it, you know what I'm asking.
What I'm finding from a lot of young drummers is my fault. It's my fault why they do what they do. I am responsible for these young guys. I need to pave the way for them to be able to understand the importance of a song. A lot of guys my age are always talking about these young chop, serious guys and how they never really pay attention to the details of a song. And they always go, those guys are playing too much and those guys are, I'm like, no, those are our guys. They're our responsibility. It's up to us to tell them, love what you're doing, but how about try a little of this and see how it works for you, if you want to work a lot. If you are too chop heavy and you don't know how to control it, a lot of times people won't call you.
Yes.
Because you're playing too much stuff. But if you got a killer 2 and 4 pocket, you come on time with a great personality, that can have you working forever.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You know, it's not necessary to have, you know, the chops of a David Weckl. It's fun. I love David Weckl, but that's David Weckl. You understand my point?
Yeah, I do. Anyone that you haven't worked with that you'd like to work with?
I want to meet Lulu.
Okay.
Really bad.
Lulu, if you're out there, right?
Lulu!
We have to check with his manager though, you know, because it all has to go through manager here, who's over there. Hello, Anne.
If I was to meet Lulu, I'd probably call her Lou Boo. Hey,
okay.
Boo.
So Lulu, if you're listening,
Lou Boo.
You've seen this guy's chops, right? He's a lovely person.
Thank you.
Sort him out, and now tell me who else you'd like to work with. A certain Mr. Welsh, a Welsh gentleman.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, my mother was a big Tom Jones fan, and I've always liked his big voice, and she listened to Tom Jones live in Las Vegas, and his voice, that baritone, big baritone voice, why, you know, just a gorgeous voice. I love how cool he was. When I heard him do What's New Pussycat, and it's not unusual, I was done.
Great song.
Just great arrangements, great singing. He's got such a big voice, man.
Okay, so Lulu and Tom Jones phone, who are you going to go with?
Lulu's
Lulu.
number one.
Yeah, Lulu.
Lulu's
please. Number one.
It's been years now, honey. Please. I just want to meet you.
If it happens, I'm coming to that gig, okay?
I would love to bring her on stage with Chic.
I've got another question. Do you think you can be better than you are now as a drummer? Do you think in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, or do you think you've kind of not peaked, but do you think...
No, I think...
You think you're still learning?
Well, I've never seen myself as complete. I've always seen myself as a work in progress. That's on all levels, not just drumming. Business, relationships, just life in general. It's all a work in progress. I can never feel like I've learned it all or done it all. You know, it's just a work in progress. And my goal in life is to be good. Just to be good. I'm not perfect. I will never be perfect. I just want to be good. Good to people, good to the music, good to the ground we walk on, good to, you know, make people smile, be good at that. You know, just be good. It's a very simple thing to the point that some people miss it because it's so simple.
I think that's a lovely note to end on, isn't it? I'm going to come round now, okay? I'm going to walk round that way. Right, hang on, here we go. I'm here! Oh, sorry, that was a bit loud. He's come from Japan, you know. We've been having a drink, we've had a lovely meal, haven't we?
Yes.
And I've had to make him come in here and talk to me now when he's had virtually no sleep.
It's okay.
But
I'm a little sleepy, but it's all right.
But that was fun, wasn't it?
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, right?
Thank you.
Mr. Ralph Roll in the house, respect. Let me feel these drummer hands. Right, put some magic in there.
Some magic.
Yeah, that'll do. I'm a better drummer now already. Rock on, respect. Thank you very
I like
much.
that. Respect. Sammy Davis.